What's up, guys? We're gonna brobeatz. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make some dark melodies that'll get people rapping on your beats fast. If you guys have a sub already, let's turn on, just do so. Go those a bit of light. Let's hop right into it. So my BPM is a little slower, just a basic 120. And for the key, now we want to make something dark. So my advice is to choose something around like the C, so B, maybe even A, and a D minor or something like that, or whatever scale you want to use. Just because usually with dark beats, the bass will go from like a high note. Or I'll just show you, it'll look something like this and then it'll like float down somewhere and maybe come back up a bit, generally. All right, so those are the basics, and let's just go ahead and get started with the melody. All right, so for the scale, I'm gonna just use we can just run with the C minor just because it's kind of like the mid between the notes I told you, and then we're gonna be using this for the guitar. Okay, so with this can be very simple if you want it to be. I'm gonna try to keep it very straightforward. So with this, what you could do is just make a chord. If you don't want to make a chord, you come up to stamps and you can just grab in like a minor, because we're in C minor, so the root will be a minor chord, right? Now this is kind of a generic thing we can do, right? So we can take this, and what people usually do is go down 5, 1 2 3 4 5, but that is not necessarily the right way to do it, okay? Because, right, if you fill in every note and then you do this 1 2 3 4 5, you can see we have a note that doesn't fit. Now it fits technically, but what happens is if you use these notes, it'll switch the scale, right? So what you'll need to do is go up 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and then what you'll have to do is flip it this way. Okay, and I'm just showing people this because a lot of people say, oh, the note doesn't fit in the grid or whatever, right? So I'm showing you why it's that way, okay? And then you can use your melody like this, or if you want to, and this is kind of, it's not really new, but for this method it is, instead of going down 5, you would go down 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and you will end up in the same spot. And that is how you kind of get the grid to kind of match up and the scales to stay in the scale that you want it to. Okay, so real quick before we actually turn to the melody, I just want to insert this. So if you use that same method I showed you before, so I'm gonna just move this over like that. All right, so if you just do this and go down 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? What you would want to do is flip these and put this up an octave, because if you have a bass pattern, that's a huge jump for a bass line. Now you could try it, but if you want to kind of normalize it, you pull this up, right? And then you would pretty much flip them, and that is how we would get back to something like this. Okay, so we can actually start making our melody. We could just use this one, the first one. All right, and I'm gonna just spread this out like this. Okay, and then we could just animate this. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started animating. So what we can do is we could take these notes away, and the reason for that is if we shift D this and we take this little pattern and we pull it up here, we have like a little pattern we can use for our melody. You can see it's kind of melodic but still very dark, so we can use kind of those notes for this. So I guess we can keep them like this. So we just want to keep a basic melody here. So we'll just move these over, and let's use the thirds grid for this. Okay. And let's spread these out. Take these top notes, copy them over. Then maybe do something like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna just pull these down. You can kind of use any pattern you want. I'm just trying to keep it basic. Okay, and then we could take this and then go down 5, 1 2 3 4 5. All right, you can see it fits now. So so that is the melody, and now we can go ahead and use our second instrument. All right, so this is the flute I'm using, and basically when you get your flute, you want to make sure it has like legato, something like that. Okay. All right, so what we can do to get our like counter is we could just take the top note of our chords. So we could take this one, and then since this is where we switch kind of the tone or the vibe, we could take this one, copy it, and then paste it in here. Okay, and there's kind of like a start and an ending point, right? So I guess we could just leave it there. So let's just play it. And we are still in the thirds grid for this, by the way. Oops. All right, just make sure it's the right note. So we can just kind of linger that out, copy this over, and then just make tiny variations. So let's see. I kind of want to hear something right here. So let's take this A maybe. So we can kind of have this darkness right here, right? So. Right, we're just adding a little bit of variation in there, and then we could do something at the end. I don't think we need it, but we could try it. So let's see. Okay, I like that. So that is the flute. Now we can start making the beat. Or actually, we could add our effects real quick. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I went ahead and added some effects and mixed it a bit. So of course I panned the instruments opposite, and I just renamed them so that you can know which is which. And then I just leveled the flute a bit. Now I will have to re-level it with the effects on and stuff. So with the guitar, I have thermal first, and we just have this preset, and I'll probably save that too. And guitar and keys, and I'll turn this off so you can hear it. Oops, there you go. So it pretty much just gives like that detuned effect. And then Portal, I just made a custom preset for this. So to make this, you just literally start up default, right? And then you just add delay, put it on 1/4, put the wetness all the way up, and then add a chorus. And I just put the rate low and the depth. I just turned the depth down a bit because it's doing too much. And then I just turned the wet and dry down, whatever, to how I liked it, right? So I'll show you with it on. Okay, and we can push this even more, but it is what it is. EQ, just EQ'd out the frequencies I didn't like, or I thought was doing too much, right? And then same thing with the flute. I'll just solo it. I don't like that frequency, so just take it out. And then with this thermal, distant shapes preset, and start here. Okay. And then I added my own custom preset, too thin. Okay. And it just kind of, I don't know, I just like the sound it gave. All right, so I'm gonna just real quick mix these in, like level them real quick. Okay, I think that's good. So now what we can do is actually put the drums in 808 and stuff like that. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, it's time to add the best part, the 808. So simply we could just take this like that, copy it down, and then from here just kind of put them in those, you know, the kind of those 808 rhythm spots. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do my own Shift D to make them smaller, and then let's go. And then I'm gonna do a 1/6. We could do like a little roll in like this. Let's see. Just something a little different. And then just go back to our grid. Okay, so I think that's good. And then for the kick, simply just copy it. Alt K, enter. We don't need that there. And I like to double my kick up, at least for this specific kick that I'm using. So okay, so now we can go ahead and add our drums in there. All right, so let's get started with our drums here. So I'm just go ahead and throw some in, and I like to start them on a separate pattern. So I'm gonna try to run through this quick because really with this, you just want to keep it simple and straightforward. I guess I could just do it here.
Drop all these in.
And we're just trying to create that like back and forth effect, right? And I'll fix this little clink sound with the velocity. We can just copy this pattern all the way over. Oops. All right, so let's fix this because this is the velocity is way too like robotic. Let's do something like that. Okay, I think that's a good dynamic between the drums, and of course we could mix and make it sound a lot better. So let's just play the whole thing all together, okay? And then I'll just turn some sounds on and off as we go. And I don't like this with the beat, so I'm gonna just leave it like this. All right. All right, so that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.